Hi guys, welcome to the fourth video of the Smart Map in Python tutorial series. Now in the previous video we installed PostgreSQL and PostGIS, and then shortly after we created a database as well as a new user for that database, and then after that we enabled PostGIS extensions on the database so that the database will be able to store GIS data. Now, in this video, we'll be looking at installing Python Django in a virtual environment. So this will be more like the actual start of us working on the project itself instead of installing just a bunch of dependencies. Okay, so one thing I want to mention is that Ubuntu usually comes with a version of Python 3 and version of Python 2 pre-installed. So I don't think it's necessary to cover that, to cover a Python installation, seeing that it's already installed if you install Ubuntu from scratch. So, but if it's really necessary, if somebody mentions it, I'll be more than happy to shoot another video where I'll be showing you how to install Python manually on Ubuntu Linux. So let's proceed. Sudo bash. Okay. The first thing that we're going to be looking at is checking if Python 3 is installed. So okay, so as you can see, Python version 3.5 is installed on my machine. I didn't install it, it came pre-packaged with Ubuntu. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to install Python 3 pip. So Python 3 pip is going to allow us to download necessary external libraries to help us in our Python development. Okay, so now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to install some essential development tools for Python. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. Okay, so now we're going to install Python 3 VM. So this tool will allow us to create a virtual environment. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to locate our desktop. Okay, so now that we're in our desktop, we're going to create a directory for our project. So I'm going to call mine Ebersys tutorials. Okay, so I verified that the directory was created, and the next thing I'm going to do is move into that directory. Okay, so I'm in, and now I'm going to create a directory for our project called Water Watch. Okay, so our directory is created, and now I'm going to change into that directory. Okay, so in this directory we'll be installing our virtual environment. So I'm going to call my virtual environment venv, or I think I'll rather just move one directory up, actually I think. Yeah, and then I'll just install my virtual environment here. So we're going to call it venv for simplicity's sake. Okay, so my virtual environment is created, and now I'm going to show you how to activate our virtual environment. It's source, venv is the name of the virtual environment, bin, and then activate. Okay, so as you can see, the prefix is the name of our virtual environment. So this means that, as you can see in the brackets there, it means that we are actually have entered into our virtual environment. So what that means is that when we create our programs, they will only use this particular environment settings and packages. Okay, so this is how you deactivate the environment. You just use the word deactivate. Okay, and then we will activate it again. Source venv bin activate. Okay, so as you can see, the prefix is back. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to install something called Django toolbelt. So what this does is that it will install Django and as many as the other tools that's necessary to run Django. So we're going to use pip. So we're in a virtual environment, so we don't actually use pip3, right? So we can just use pip. But remember, outside the virtual environment, you need to use pip3. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. Okay, that's done. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to record our dependencies in a file that I'll call requirements.txt, which I'm sure many Python developers are familiar with. So it's pip freeze requirement.txt. Okay, so now we're going to verify that it was created and we can see the file is there, and then we're going to open that file to see that all our dependencies are written to it. So I'm going to say cat requirements.txt, and as you can see, all our requirements for this particular project at this stage is installed. So thank you very much. Please subscribe if you find it helpful and give it a thumbs up.